Hi, it's Angela Grace, integrative nutrition health coach and owner of Suture Wellness LLC. My goal is to help as many people as possible to reclaim their health because I was once a person who was really sick and I've spent several years reclaiming my health. I've had my ups and downs. I've had lessons I've learned the hard way, and I've applied all my knowledge since 2014 into my practice. And so this video is going to be talking about how I overtrained, overexercised, and how that played a part in me getting rheumatoid arthritis. Now, everybody's different when it comes to exercise. Some people love it and some people hate it. Okay, and there's all kinds of information out there concerning exercise. This is my story. This is what I experienced, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So, in 2017, I joined a weight loss community of people, or more like a class, and it was required to change our nutrition and to exercise 4 days out of the week. In the beginning of that, I hated it, and I forced myself to do it because I paid for this class and I wanted results out of it. In the process of going through that, I rediscovered my love of exercise. I was always very athletic growing up. I loved basketball. I played volleyball, and I was in track. And I've just always been really athletic, but due to being on birth control and getting diagnosed with hypothyroid and then eventually Hashimoto's, I became very overweight and inflamed, and nothing seemed to work. That's another story. But in 2017, when I got all those other underlying conditions kind of worked out, I joined this weight loss group and I fell in love with exercise again. I was addicted to it. It helped me feel better. I was able to go in the gym and push myself, and it was a stress relief for me. And then on top of that, I was losing weight. I was shedding the weight that I've carried for many, many years, and it built confidence in me, which motivated me to continue to work out, to push myself. It wasn't until 2017. It wasn't until 2018 when I went through a very difficult time in my life. I went through a divorce. And I was married for a significant amount of time, and it was a very high conflict divorce, and it brought a lot of stress to my life. And because it brought a lot of stress to my life, and working out was a release, a stress release, I increased my working out. So instead of working out 3 or 4, maybe even 5 days out of the week, I would work out sometimes 7 or more. So it became a point where, did I miss days? Yes, but majority of the time, I was in the gym every single day. Sometimes I was in the gym in the AM and in the PM. Now, the mentality that I had was something that I adapted by being around Marines and pushing yourself and suck it up, buttercup, and that type of aspect. And so because I was working out so often, and my body, if you know anything about exercise and soreness, when you get sore lifting weights, cardio, squats, whatever you're doing, and you are targeting a point in your body, whether that's your legs, your shoulders, your back, your arms, whatever that may be, and those are sore, you need to rest. But I had the mentality, push harder, do some more, work out the soreness, okay? Suck it up and be strong and all of that. And I did that consistently through all of 2018. So you think of 365 days that year. I worked out the majority of those days, some days twice a day. I did not take the time to let my body rest. And so I continued to work out even while I was sore. So my body was not able, when my body was breaking down, and because that's what happens when you're sore, I did not rest to allow my body to heal. And so not only did I have underlying toxicity in my life, which I talk about, that's another video. And I'm not talking about, well, I had toxic relationships in my life, but I also had toxicity. And I'm talking about like mold and heavy metals and things like that. So not only did I have those things going on in my body and in my health that I wasn't aware of how they were impacting me, and I wasn't even aware of a heavy metal toxicity in my body at that time. I was having a lot of mental and emotional stress in my life, and I was compounding that dramatically with the physical stress that I was putting my body over. Now, because it made me feel better mentally and emotionally, I wasn't thinking about my physical body in the long run. But what ended up happening was at the beginning of 2019, I was lifting weights. And I remember one night, there was a point where I was like, I cannot lift these. It was like my body just stopped being able to adapt. It was crazy how I was able to do it one day, and one day I wasn't able to do it. And it continued to happen. And I started getting some natural therapies done to help with the massive amounts of inflammation that I was experiencing. I was experiencing a lot of pain in my shoulders and in my back. Then it moved into my wrist and my hands, and my ankles and my legs. And so, of course, working out just became obsolete. I could not do it because it caused so much pain. I started doing these therapies, which when you have inflammation in the body, these therapies were helping people. It did not even touch it for me. That's when I went and got blood work done, and the rheumatoid arthritis came back positive. Now, I wasn't really elevated, but it was elevated enough to say, yes, you have rheumatoid arthritis. So what ended up happening was this gene got triggered. And that's at that time in my life, I did not understand somebody who exercised and worked out, somebody who took care of their macronutrients, who ate healthy proteins, clean healthy carbs, and clean healthy fats. My diet was really on point. I didn't eat much sugar, and I took good supplements, and it didn't make sense to me why somebody as healthy as I was ended up getting RA. And so through this process of healing from 2019, that happened in January of 2019. In April of that year, I had scheduled to go to Vegas on a trip. And I was in so much pain walking around in Vegas. And around that time, I started having really awful acne, and my health really started to decline. Not only was I struggling with acne, but I was gaining weight, and I didn't know why. I was still eating very healthy, and so I started doing some juice fasting and limiting my food intake to not gain weight, because I had worked so hard to lose this weight. I didn't want to start gaining weight again. And at that time, I just didn't understand the full picture. I went through that. I did multiple therapies. They would help me a little bit, but my symptoms would always come back and be worse. And I started doing some research, and I felt like my intuition told me I wasn't detoxing properly. And through my research, I came to the conclusion that I wasn't detoxing properly. My body was struggling with that. My lymphatic system was not flowing properly, which is one of your major detox pathways. And I believed I still have, I haven't taken care of this yet, but a root canal that I contributed to causing some of my RA symptoms that could have triggered it. And I ended up realizing I also had what's called cavitations, pockets of infection in my mouth. And so I came to these conclusions, but all the pieces, I felt like I had a puzzle, but I only had certain pieces, the main pieces I needed, but I needed to fill it in to complete the puzzle. And so it was in 2020 that I came across detoxing in a true safe and effective way. And it was through that program that I started to reclaim my health. And it was through that program that filled in all these other pieces. I was like, my intuition was right. All these things are a component, but it's so much more to that. Now, in the process of 2020 to now, I've shared this with many of my clients, but I have not really spoke about this in a manner like this. And I came to realize that I was not exercising in a healthy manner. And there wasn't a balance. I wasn't giving my body time to rest and to heal. And I was way overdoing it. So what happened? Why I know for myself, over excessive exercising was one of the big contributing factors to me being diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, was over exercising and not properly resting and healing my body. So I had all these other things going on with me. Mold toxicity, heavy metal toxicity is a big one for me. Hidden infections, dental work. It was impacting my detox pathways. It was impacting my lymphatic system, my liver, my kidneys, and I was not able to detox properly. It was driving inflammation. And if you know anybody with rheumatoid arthritis, or you have rheumatoid arthritis, you know how painful it is. At this time when I got diagnosed with this, I was in the health field, and I believed in your body's ability to heal. And I was doing everything at that time that I knew to help my body be able to heal itself, but I wasn't getting better. I was getting worse. And it was because I had underlying toxicity in my body. I also had massive amounts of stress, mental, emotional stress in my life. And I had excessive physical stress on my body for a solid year of my life, and my body just could not handle it, and it finally gave up, and it triggered that gene expression, which was rheumatoid arthritis. The upside to that, 2 years in, I started detoxing properly in June of 2020. It was end of May, beginning of June of this year. So June of 2022. I was able to get back into the gym and work out 3 or 4 days out of the week. I listened to my body. I rested. When I'm sore, I don't work those muscles again. When I feel like my body is run down, I take a break. I don't push myself. I've learned through the pain to listen to my body much better, because when I was living in the constant pain of rheumatoid arthritis, I went from being able to being, and this is, I'm going to post in this video after I get done talking, a clip that I posted to my Facebook page, how I did 300 push-ups in my AM workout, 300 push-ups. Do that again in the PM. So excessive working out did not do good for me in the long run. So I'm much better at listening to my body now. And because I've done the work to truly detox in a safe and effective way, I'm back in the gym. I was able to work out 3 or 4 days out of the week, the month of June, the month of July, the month of August, and here we are almost halfway through September, and I'm still going strong. So I've done a lot of healing. I went from being in so much pain, washing my hair was painful, putting my hair up in a ponytail was painful, putting on makeup, drying my hair, fixing my hair, putting on clothes, tying my shoes, opening up sparkling water, the Coke cans, the water cans, I couldn't do. Buckling my youngest in his car seat, I couldn't do that. Thankfully, I had my older kids to help me with a lot of these things. Opening up doors got painful. My hands got so inflamed and so swollen and was so painful. If I overwalked, my legs would swell up. I would have my hip pain, my shoulders, my neck. It was, I look back at that time in my life, and I just remember thinking I was in so much pain. I didn't want to resort to pharmaceutical medicine. But at that time, I was like, I'm in so much pain, I just want relief. And I'm so glad that I knew there was answers out there, and I knew there because I've experienced that in the past in my life. There's answers out there. Your body is capable of healing itself. And so I dug in as a health coach. I dug in and started researching. And that's why today I've implemented everything that I've learned over this period of time into my own practice. I became a detox specialist and practitioner, along with my nutrition health coach certificate. So I've incorporated all of this into my practice. But so much of the time we're taught push through, suck it up, exercise is the answer, but we're not taught how to balance that. So that's my story on how I feel excessive exercise was a major factor in me triggering the rheumatoid arthritis gene. There's answers out there. There's hope. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me at sutrawellnesscenter.org. That's my website. You can find me on Facebook, Sutra Wellness, and you can find my health coaching page, which is called Angela Grace Integrative Nutrition Health Coach. I hope this message inspires you, brings you hope, and know that there's answers out there and you're not alone in your health journey.